Uh, Good evening, everyone. A warm welcome to today's session of UiPath Agent Tech India Student Edition. I'm Vidya here, I'm Vidya here from UiPath Student Developer Program team, and I will be your host for today's session. Today's session focuses on UiPath generative AI activities training, led by Mukesh Kala. By now, some of you might know him. This is an intro for the new attendees. Mukesh is 5 times UiPath MVP, a certified RPA solution architect and trainer. With 2 million plus YouTube views, he has been helping professionals and businesses growth with hyper automation and agentic tools. Currently, he leads a hyper automation practice head, bringing deep expertise in RPA and AI. So let's learn from his expertise and dive deeper into building automation and with generative AI, the skill that is must for hackathon journey. Over to you, Mukesh.
Thank you, Vidya, for the introduction, and I hope you are able to see my screen and hear me clearly.
Yes.
Great. Okay, so thank you everyone for joining. Today, I would be taking you through the generative AI and the Gen AI activity, and at the end of the session, you would be like, "Wow, this is so easy!" Right? Vidya has already given a description about myself, so feel free to connect me over LinkedIn. Happy to be part of your network, right? And today we are going to cover the UiPath generative AI activities, right? I see some of the people are joining for the first day, right? So guys, yesterday we talked about a tool which is called UiPath Studio Web, which is like UiPath Studio, which is a software which is available on the website for doing the coding and all. This require no infrastructure, no installation. You just have to go to this website, which is cloud.uipath.com, and here you would have access to Studio Web. As the name suggests, it is a studio which is opening on the web, and here we are going to build the automations, right? And today we are going to see the next chapter of it, that how I can utilize generative AI activities into my automations. The best part about using a Studio Web and UiPath Studio in general is that whatever automation you write in Studio Web, so for example, if I just go to my Studio Web, right, these are all the projects which we created yesterday. So I can just click on these three dots and you have an option which says open in Studio Desktop. So that should open into the Studio Desktop and you can continue your journey here and there as well, right? Today, I am going to build specifically, I want to give you understanding of the generative AI activities, but my agenda would be to build it with the help of small use cases. These are very small use cases, but think it from a hackathon point of view. You can build more story on top of it, add more functionalities, and that will be a solution for your hackathon, right? And with AI, trust me, you can do a lot of stuff, right? With that note, let me quickly go to my presentation. And what exactly is the generative AI activity? Okay, so today, for example, if you are coming from a Java, .NET, C Sharp, or a Python background, you have to integrate AI into your coding or into your automation. Can you do it? The answer to that question is yes. I have to call an API. I have to get a subscription from ChatGPT. I have to do a lot of stuff, and then I have to manipulate the data. Huge coding is required. What UiPath did, they created an activity pack. This activity pack has all the features which an LLM can give. It has access to image, you can write the emails, content generation, compare images, detect objects, semantic similarity, content generation. A lot of the activities are here. You just have to drag and drop, pass the input, and you can use this into your any automation. Now, as in the background, you might understand that yes, any of the AI requires an LLM. So these are the LLMs which are managed by UiPath, and UiPath also had the third party LLMs which you can always utilize for the use cases, right? As I mentioned that these are end-to-end use cases, I'm going to show some of them. But in case you want to learn more about the detailed use cases, I have my YouTube channel, which Vidya was mentioning. I have covered a lot of generative AI small projects. So you would find my channel on YouTube, tutorials by Mukesh Kala. And all of this I have explained in details in Studio as well, right? So feel free to explore because we won't be able to cover all these activities, but I'll give you an head start to get started, right? With that, what are the features? First of all, you have a lot of activities. You can summarize, you can translate, you can classify, paraphrase, a lot of things. Ease of use, you just have to write the prompt and the activity will perform itself. It is compatible with, as I mentioned, Studio Web, Studio Desktop, and Studio Apps. It is integrated something which is called context grounding, which simply means that if you ask the AI today, right, who is Mukesh Kala and what he is doing, let's say on Friday, it won't be able to know. But if I provide detail about myself, if I provide the agenda of this session, it would be able to understand, right? So that is called context grounding. You can think it of a scenario where you have a business requirement and you want the AI, the automation, the chatbot to respond with only the information which you have fed and not from the internet. Simple example of context grounding that is also there. You have something which is called UiPath trust layer. A lot of the people are like, okay, I'm going to build a solution. As a student, this might not be important for you, but think it from an enterprise point of view, whose data is confidential. And you are, let's say, a healthcare or you are a banking, you might not be comfortable sharing data to any third party LLM. UiPath has that thing which is called UiPath Trust Layer, which is covering all of this. It has free access to the popular LLMs. I repeat, free access. You are not paying the LLM fees even in the community edition. So this opens a lot of use cases for you where you can just use the activity and build the use cases with that. Integration wise, you can integrate it with Outlook, webmail, Google Sheets, Google Docs, SAP, databases, get the data from anywhere, process the data, put it outside into application and build a story and build a use case, right? That is the integration part. With that, let's talk about the first activity today. The first activity today is content generation, right? It's a simple activity which you just have to provide the content and it will generate the response for you. Okay, I'm going to show it to you practically after this session. I would request you guys to open up the Studio Web, try this on your own so that you don't forget the concepts. Okay, let me quickly show that to you. I'll go back to my Studio Web. I hope you remember this one now. Okay, and now let's try to create a new solution. I'll say create new and I'll go here and I'll say workflow. Okay, and I want to start it manually, so I can say manual because we are doing it right away, right? Now, I want you guys, let's say all the students, I want you guys to register for tomorrow's session, which is orchestrator session. And I want to write an email to all of you, but I do not want to type hi students and all these things, right? I'll go to my Studio Web, I'll click on this plus button and I'll search for something which is called content generation. uh, Here it is. In the UiPath generative AI activities, it has a lot of activities. I'll say content generation, right? This is the same connection, guys, which we had made yesterday. In case it is not coming up for you, you can click on this, guys, and say add new connection. You just have to click connect and it will automatically connect. I'm not paying anything, paid license, nothing is there. All of this is available in community, right? Now, what is the model you want to use? GPT, Gemini, Cloud, whatever you want to use. I'll go for the GPT-4o, the latest one, right? PII detection, I'll talk about this in a little bit moment. URL helpful and what is the prompt? Okay, so for example, I have all of your email IDs. So what I can do is I can say write a email to students requesting them to register for tomorrow orchestrator session, right? And what will happen? This guy will generate an email for you with this prompt. Now, many of you might be thinking, right, what is so special about it? I can always go to ChatGPT and I can write this prompt and it will give me the same thing. Spot on. You're absolutely correct. But can you send an email? You cannot take an action. That's where AI and automation can do a lot of stuff. Right? Let me show it to you. So I say just a prompt, right? Write an email to the student requesting them to register for this session. You are a helpful assistant, and that's it. Now, after that, what? This is the first step of my automation. The next step is I want whatever the output of this is coming, I want to send it as an email. So I can go here, add an activity, and I say send email, right? I am using Gmail. I believe all of us has Gmail. In case you don't like Gmail, you can use Outlook, Hotmail, all of that options are available. I have already opened my Gmail account and it's here, right? Whom do you want to send an email? So I'll send it to my email ID, which is like tutorials by Mukesh Kala @gmail.com, right? What is the subject? Okay, the subject is maybe session request. And now comes the interesting part. What do you want to write in the body? In the body, I can just go here, click on this, and you would see that you are getting everything from the content generation. What do you want to type? You want to type the mass text, this and all. I'll just go and select text, and that's it. You always has an option to attach the files and all of that, right? As sending email. I'll save this, go here, and I just say test step by step. Now what is going to happen? I have just written a prompt. It is going to understand the context, generate the email, and then also take an action, which is like sending an email to my email ID, whichever I have mentioned, right? Let's say continue, right? It is running step by step so that we can see if there is any error, right? So this was successful. Now it is generating the content, which is also successful. Then it is saying the sending email is also successful, right? If everything would have worked as expected, I should have received an email into my mailbox. Did I use the correct account? Let me check. Okay, I think it will take some time to execution ended. Let me quickly refresh. I hope I'm logged into the correct account. Tutorials by Mukesh Kala @gmail.com. Okay. Okay. The problem is here it is the email. Why it didn't came? Because when I was writing the problem, I say save as draft to true, right? That is why it was saved to draft, right? Let me call it to false, and then I just say test on cloud, and then it will currently run it without going step by step, right? So execution started. This is successful. This is successful. This is also successful, right? So basically you have seen one feature that if you do not want to send, you can also put it in the drafts as well, right? Let me go back to my mailbox now, and I'll close this. Okay, it will take 1 or 2 seconds to come back, and then you should see the mailbox into my look. What did I do now? Okay, save to draft if false. Here it is, right? Take some time, but yeah. Session request, register for, I hope you find this email. This is to friendly reminder orchestrations tomorrow, blah, 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 and all these details, right? So without me writing much of the automation, I was able to do this thing, right? Now, let me tell you one more interesting use case which you can do here. Okay. So for example, I have received one email, right? Let me write an email to myself. Okay. Where I'll just copy paste the stuff just to save time. Okay. So I just say not happy with the service. Okay. I just say I not happy with the service provided. Okay. So now this is a support mailbox. You are receiving a lot of complaints, a lot of emails from the customers. Now you have written a automated thing where you can just go to this, read this file, ask the generation activity to generate the response, and then automatically reply to the email. So for example, the same use case, I can just go here and I can say email, right? Which is like the Google Workspace. From the Google Workspace, I say, get me the newest email. Okay. it will read the same account from the inbox. Do you need any filters? All of that you can customize, and then it will just read the content. And now instead of this prompt, what I will say is just from the newest email, read the body, right? It has, and then I'll just say reply to this content, or maybe reply to this things, and you can just write a prompt, right? As a maybe very experienced senior support engineer, reply to this content of the email. Everything else is same, and then here you just say reply to the email, and then which email you want to reply, you just have to provide the email, which is like this one, which is the email which you have used. Just reply to that email, and into the body you just provide whatever you got from the AI, and that's it, right? So I'll just remove this guy, and you can see here the same use case: get me the newest email, read the latest email from the inbox. I just say that reply to the content whatever is there in the email body, and then reply to the same email saying this, right? And save as draft to false. I can just save this, and I just say test on cloud, right? Meanwhile this is running, right? What do you guys think? This is interesting or easy, right? So if you guys are finding it easy, and you are able to find out some, able to think of some good use cases, just let me, just let comment content generation maybe, or just type content, right, for the easy word, right? Because I'm going to show you more activities, so I need to know that whether you are able to understand, right? Just comment on content so that I'm able to figure out. Okay, Neeraj says helpful content. Okay, great. So see, same like this, right? You can think of a use case where you have all this information available in an Excel, right? You go to, I'm just giving you some ideas, right? You go to Google, this what you call Play Store, App Store, take any of the application, read all the feedback, put it into the Excel, read the Excel here, and ask AI to generate response to that feedback, right? And then you should be able to reply to those emails, right? So here it is. See, I'm sorry to hear you are not satisfied with the service provided. Your feedback is important to us. We would like to understand this. Could you please provide me more details and all? Right? 1 minute ago, just by using two activities, I was able to do this. Now think of a use case, right, where you have a mailbox and where you have a lot of emails, appreciation emails, complaint emails, this email, that email. You can think of something which your college is getting, right? Registration inquiries, fees inquiries, somebody inquiring for something, right? Hell lot of use cases, right? So I hope that gave you some idea, and trust me, we have much more, right? Let's go to the next one. Sorry, my bad. uh, okay, that was content generation. Next one, we have one more generative AI activity, which is called summarize the text. Summarize the text, as the name suggests, summarize whatever you have given as an input, and it summarizes the stuff for you. Okay, now you just need the text to summarize what format you require and what do you want to do, right? To describe this use case, I am coming up with a use case where we have a lot of meetings, same like this, right? We are doing it on UiPath community. This session is getting recorded and this is getting transcribed as well, right? With the help of AI. We know that AI can transcribe the things, right? Same like you can build a use case where you have a meeting transcript. It can be a huge document. It can be, let's say, automation, which is built by a faculty member to evaluate the student's answer, right? So you have a huge list of document and you are just asking AI to summarize that, right? Let me tell you, show you what we have, right? So I'll just open this document maybe. So what I have got is, I have, here it is. I have a meeting transcript of some project discussion, right? Some from the teams, right? There are BA, there are this. You can think it of any document. You can read it from web. email, Excel, all your implementation. What I'm going to do here is I'll just go back to my studio web, which is this guy, right? And let me just delete this, right? We have remove, remove, remove. Okay. Now the next one, which I'm going to show you is summarize. Summarize the text. Okay. Summarize the text, exactly the same concept, guys. You just need to know that there are activities available and then rest is exactly the same. Text to summarize. I can just go here and I say Control V. I'll just pass the complete text which I have got to summarize, right? You would have understood the concept that you can read this from a notepad file, you can read it from an Excel, you would read it from an email, right? So not going there, we'll just directly passing it here, right? In number of summary words, UiPath says that the maximum word count for the summary is provided the text. If not populated, UiPath will automatically figure out itself, right? How do you want to have the summary? Do you want to have it in a paragraph, bullet, tabular, chronology, that what happened afterward? I preferred, let's say, bulleted list. And that's it, right? Now what would happen if I run this program? It is going to give me a summary of what is that conversation, and that summary I can use anywhere. I can put it in a database, email, chat, Slack, your implementation. But for this use case, I'll just go and log it here directly into the output console, right? I'm just saying log the message, right? Which is like logging the output here. I have the output here. You can put it anywhere with your integrations, right? So I say that this is an info, and into the text, I want to say summarize text. What is the um, summary? That's it. And if I just go and say test, what should happen? It will read my complete chat, which I have got from Teams integration, Slack integration, Zoom integration, put it directly back to this guy, asking it to summarize and give me the output back. Here it is. Copy it. This was the complete, I would say, the input, right? Which I have given. I do not want to read this. I can just paste this new guy here. And this is the summary, right? How cool is that, right? Meeting transcript of the project. First thing was automating for finance department. Second was chatbot. Solution architect said this. Follow-up meeting is scheduled, right? I do not have to read this complete document, right? Now just think of the use cases, guys, which you can build on top of by just using this single activity. This text can be anything. It can be a text of a chapter. It can be a legal document. It can be something like terms and condition. Let's say you purchase something from, let's say, a store, right? And there is a terms of condition. You are joining a new company. You have an offer letter which is having a lot of things. Now you want AI to summarize it. It will summarize for you. You are a teacher. You're a university guy. Teacher in university, right, who is checking the answer, and you do not want to read the complete thing. You just read all the answers from the emails, assignment of students, summarize it, get the summary, ask AI to evaluate, and reply with the previous activity, right? You can do a lot of stuff, right? I hope that was helpful. And let's do the same stuff, right? Did you guys got some idea using summarize, right? If you got some ideas, you can share your idea. And if you don't want to share it, just comment down, maybe summarize, so that I understand that yes, you have some idea in your mind for building hackathon, right? And just imagine, by combining the content and summarize, you can create how many use cases, right? So just comment down summarize, or maybe just if you want to share your ideas, just go ahead and share the idea as well, right? Meanwhile, I'll go to the next one. Okay, so that was the meeting summarizer. Okay. Great. So you have ideas, but you don't want to share. Awesome. Next one, translate, right? Translate, as the name suggests, you can translate from one language to another language. And then there is one more, two activities. One is detect and one is translate. Okay. For example, as the name suggests, right? Detect will detect the language, and translate will translate it to any other language. Let's discuss for the use case. The use case which I am doing today is that I am a company who is having a multiple customer support ticket. I am a multinational company, and I receive emails from, let's say, customer across 50 countries, right? As I have mentioned here. Now the problem with my current employees is I cannot teach my guys all the 50 languages, Chinese, Japanese, French, and all. There is a lot of manual efforts, there is inefficiency. And then as my tickets grow, I need to hire more people. That is, as a owner of a company, I feel that, okay, I have a huge MNC, I'm getting tickets. These are the kind of emails which I am getting today, right? Now, if I'm not using Gen AI or anything, any automation, what can I do? I have to hire people. But since we are having Gen AI, let's try to solve this with the new AI capabilities. Okay. And for that, I'll again go back to our thing. I'll just remove this guy. I'll remove this guy, right? And I will go here and I'll type detect language, detect object, detect language, right? So we are using about UiPath Gen AI activity. So I'm going to use this detect language, right? Now, as of now, guys, I am directly passing the text here, right? But I hope you guys understood that yes, it could be directly read from email, same like I did first time. You just go here and say read email, pass the body of the email here, and that will do the same thing, right? As of now, just to save time, I am hard coding the stuff, right? So let's say this is the mail which I have received. You read the mail body here and you pass the text to here, right? Detect language. It is going to detect the language of that thing, right? It has detected the language. Now, the next thing is translate, right? Now, you can directly pass the text to be translated and in which language you want to translate, right? So what I'll do is I'll add a log message activity just to show a complete use case end to end. Okay. I'll add a log message activity and I'll just print the detected language. And I'll say that language detected. I even don't know what is that language, right? So I am reading the email, passing it to detect language, then asking it to print that language, right? It will simply print French, whatever it is, right? Then what is the text? The text is the same text. In which language translated to? In which language you want to translate? I want to translate it to English. Hope we have English here. Here it is, right? We want to translate it to English, right? Once it is translated to English, I'll just print the English text. Okay, see how easy it is now. Info, and I say that whatever is the translated text, it will print that here. Now you have a translated text. Now what you can do is you have to now reply to that email. So I can just go here and I can say content generation, the activity which I used right just now, content generation. In the content generation, I just select the model and then here I say that reply to the mail. And where is the mail? The mail is nothing but the translated text, right? It will reply to that email and it will be giving you the translated text to that email. Now you have to again translate that text to the different language. So you just say whatever you have detected here, right? So I'll just go here and I just again detect and I would say translate whatever email reply AI has generated, translate it back. What text I want to translate? I want to translate the text which is coming from my content generation. Okay. And in which language? The language can now be from the variables, right? As of now, we have not used variables, but since you guys have, I believe that you are doing your courses and everything, you can pass the data from one activity to another activity by using the variables, right? So I can just go here and show additional properties. So you can see here, this is the detected language, right? Detected language, right? So I can just go here and say variables from the detected language, which is this. And that's it. And then finally, I will just log the message, the reply of the translate one. Don't worry, I'll explain it to you what we have done. Okay, see, try to understand the flow. Okay, we have got an email which is in a different language. Bonjour, so it's French. I use a detect language activity and then I ask it to detect the language. Is language detected is the detected language. Didn't write any code. Then I say translate. What to translate? The language which you have given, translate it to English. And then just print the translated text that this is the translated text. Then again use a content generation activity and ask it to reply to that email which is now translated. You would have done in the French, that will also work, right? And then whatever you have converted, reply to that email, convert it back to the actual language of the customer, which was whatever the content generated, convert, pass it to that guy and print it back here. I am printing it back. You can just send it an email. And if I just say test on cloud, you would see that by just using a couple of activities, my flow is clear on my mind. So I know that what is happening in the background. And then we can just analyze the output. See, language detected is French, right? It says that this is the email. Hello, my name is John. And let's try to analyze the output. Okay. So if you notice here, right, the language detected is French. What was my input? My input was this: bonjour, Jean, and all something, right? Hello, my name is John. I would like to know where my package will arrive. I placed my order on January. Additionally, I have tried to package, but it does not work. So this was the actual inquiry. What it has done is it has generated a reply to this email saying that into the French, and this is the email which would be replied back to the customer, right? So you do not have to do anything. Same like I am logging the message here, you could have just replied to the email. Same like I am passing the content here, you could have just read it from the email, right? It could be something like replying to the reviews of a product which is coming in a different language. And the activity which you have used is detect and translate. So detect means detect the language, and translate means translate it to a language which you want to translate, right? Now I'll take a pause. Just imagine how many use cases you can now build with summarize, content, detect, translate with integration of Google, emails, Excel, file and folder, right? Is it interesting, guys? You guys are following along? Does it give you some ideas? If just say yes or no, and maybe just comment down idea, right? If you have some ideas, I do not want you guys to share, but maybe just comment ideas so that at least I know that yes, you have got some ideas for the hackathon. Cool. Awesome. Yes, somebody says ideas. Okay. Right. I have more. Bear with me, I have more. Okay. I'm not going through the answers of this chat, guys, because I do not want to break the flow, right? So we'll take things Q&A at the end, right? Now, that was all about text. Wouldn't it be good if we are able to do the same thing with objects? So for example, I have a scenario here. There is a bank, okay? That bank is receiving a lot of checks, right? Now, today, somebody has to manually sit and find out what is there into the check, whether the signature is present, whether the account number is present, whether the logo is present, or whatever it is, right? So, in my Studio Web, okay, maybe I'll just keep this flow here and I'll create a new one. I'll go back to Studio Web. Okay, I'll create a new. This is how you create a new solution, right? Create new workflow, manual trigger, right? You have something which is called detect object in the UiPath GenAI activities. Now, what is detect object? Detect object is a simple thing where you have to provide an image. Where is the image? And then you have something which is called entities. Now, as you move ahead into the complex activities like this, you need to understand what is an entity. Okay, I'll try to explain it to you. Entity is a key value pair. Key as in key and value, right? People who are coming from a little bit of programming, this is a dictionary. In case you don't know programming, still it is fine, right? All you have to do here is into the entities, you click on these guys, it will open the entities, and you just have to mention add entity name and the description. Add entity name and the description, right? So, for example, I want to identify what is, let's say, I'll say logo. What is the description? The description is this is the logo at the top. This is the logo of the bank, right? Then I say add, let's say signature. This would be the signature. I can say add amount, right? You just have to write it in plain English, right? How do you make AI understand that what is this about? This is the amount, and save this. And then all you have to do is just pass the image here. And once you have the image, you can ask the AI any set of questions. Okay, let me check if I have the image handy, but otherwise I'll show it to you on my different solution, which I have already created, right? The whole idea here is you can provide an image to AI and you can ask question. Now, it can be something like a image of, let's say, a busy traffic signal, and you provide the image to the AI and ask it, right? Do you see any red cars? Do you see any blue cars, right? You can upload image of a sea where a lot of people are trying to get near to the sea, and you just ask the AI that tell me that do you see any threat in this image, and it will be able to give you the response. How does it look like? Let me quickly open the solution, right? So that it save time, because it is a image processing, guys, so it takes little more extra time as compared to the uh, text, right? So that's why I already created on my studio. Again, that's the same thing, studio web, right? And I'll just try to open it on my different screen. Tick, tick, tick. Here it is. Okay, you always have an option to work on studio web. I can just open this from here to again on the studio web, and that should also work fine. Okay, let me just open this guy. Okay, and here it is. See, because I am using the UiPath Studio Web, same activity, detect the object, where is the image, and here I have asked it to find the signature, account number, logo, and the authorized stamp, right? And what is the image which I am providing? The image is from my E drive. Yeah, that's what I forgot where I have kept the images. Yes, here it is, right? So these are some of the images which I have put to the AI model, right? So here you see you have the bank, it is a cancel check, here it is this, here it is this, right? Let's try to find out for this image, which is the signed image, right? Maybe this one. So I'll take this copy as path, right? And I'll pass it to this model. Oh, my bad. Right. And then I'll just pass the complete path of the thing. And exactly the same thing I am running on my studio because my studio is already connected. And let's see what do we get in the entities. I'll just run it in the debug mode so that we are able to see what is happening, right? Concept wise is exactly the same. You can just open it there or it can open here as well, right? But because I have already created a lot of these things, so I just wanted to save time, right? And then if I show you the output, this is the output. Okay. Signature detected is yes. Where is that? Here it is. Yeah. So signature detected is yes. Detail is like where it has find the signature, handwritten signature near the bottom right of the check. Let's try to see that. Bottom right of the check, it has the signature detected. The next thing which I asked it to find out was account number. Detected is yes. It says that printed account number is 355810826. 355, I don't know where did it get it from. Yeah, here it is. See, 355. I didn't tell it, right? Where it is account number. That's the power of Gen AI, right? Bank logo, official logo, State Bank of India is top left corner of the thing. And lastly, authorized stamp detected is no, which says that there is no stamp on the check. I can just go here and tick, 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 tick. There is no stamp. How cool is that? Right? So I just use one single activity as you can see here, and I was able to get the data out of it, right? It was running on studio. I had already had, right? But I hope you got the concept, right? Exactly the same thing, but I just did it on the studio because that is more handy to use, right? You can always do the same thing on the web as well. Okay. I'll take a pause. Again, the same question. Do you guys got some ideas to work on images? If yes, just comment down images before I go to the next one, right? Just comment down images so that you got some ideas that yes, you can use. Now just imagine you have images, you read, you extract the information. From that extraction, you just write condition that if in the image you are able to find this, do this. It can be simply like that you built a use case for a banking department where you say that if the check is not signed, raise the customer make an inquiry that hey, your check is not signed. It can be something to student enrollment form, right? Just hypothetically making this example, right? So for example, you're in a college, you have to fill the forms of the student and somebody student, you need to ensure that all the details are filled in that form. Pass that image to this guy, ask it to analyze and give what are the things which are missing, right? And then the AI just write a response back to, let's say, I just see an email name like Bharat, right? So Bharat has a form which is coming, and Bharat forgot to mention his email ID, phone number, and signature. You use a content generation activity, ask AI to reply to Bharat saying that these are the details which are missing in your form. You save a lot of hours for the guy who is manually verifying, right? You can build it for your banking, insurance, healthcare. Story is on you, right? And that was for check verification. And I have one more interesting use case, right? Here it is. We have an activity in this generative AI, which is called categorize. I'll just remove this. Okay. I have built some of the automation so that we save time, right? But you guys got the concept, so that's great. So we have an activity which is called categorize, right? Categorize is a generative AI activity that can categorize the things. For example, let's take a simple use case, right? Um, I have this input, right? Let's try to build it directly on Studio Web, right? So that we all can find, and then I can show you what I have built. Okay. So this is kind of my bank statement, right? Bank statement, credit card statement, you can think it of anything, right? I just copy this, pass it to my categorize activity. What is the content? Pass the complete content here, right? Whatever is the thing, I just passed it here, right? And now I am asking it to provide me in the categories. Now, these are the categories. What is the category? I want to divide these categories into, let's say, this is related to the food, right? Starbucks, Domino's. This is related to electronics. This is related to something, right? So this is the actual category: food and dining, shopping, utility, travel, and investment. But I want AI to provide these categories. So I say that I want you to categorize that complete data which I provide as an input into this category, food and dining. So what is food and dining? So I can just say here in natural language like transaction related to food, right? Add. What is the next category you want to do? You can name it anything, right? Shopping. You can just say here shopping. And how do you want AI to classify the transaction? You say that transaction for shopping, so on and so forth, right? And you just keep on adding to that, and that will be able to classify that what that the guy is actually doing, right? Short description of the content being categorized, you can provide it, but let's say, let me try to just do a small test. Let's say payment of Domino's Pizza. Instead of this complete thing, I'll just pass payment at Domino's Pizza. And then I have two categories. One is like food and dining, one is shopping, and the other is, let's say, utilities. Okay. And then it's like transaction for, let's say, petrol slash gas, right? Whatever you feel, you can just keep on adding the categories, right? And I save this. Now, payment at Domino's Pizza is a item which is related to food, but Gen AI would be able to categorize it. And all I will do is just use a log message activity here, and I just say this is info level log, and in here I say whatever you have categorize the category, print the category. Okay. And then I just say test on cloud. What happens is I have provided a text which is like payment at Domino's Pizza, and execution started. See, food and dining, right? It can be something like I fill my car with, let's say, 10,000, right? I didn't mention gas, I didn't mention petrol. Let's see, testing, right? Utilities, right? Let's try something else. What was the third category here? Shopping, right? I bought MacBook. Then it will be able to classify, categorize that thing into something which is called shopping, right? What was the use case I built for myself? I built a use case where you have a credit card transactions, right? These are all the credit card transactions which you have. All these credit card transactions are passed one by one to the same model. As of now, I'm copy pasting it. And then whatever response you get from AI, put it back into this thing. And that's it, right? It was able to uh, print the same thing which you see here, right? I have used categorize activity, and it will go and write the data back to this thing, right? So if I just save this, right, as you can see that it is completely blank credit card transaction. this category is blank. I'll close this. I'll just go here and I'll say run the file, right? That is where I have added the data from email, downloaded it, put it into Excel, do this manipulation and doing the same stuff, right? And now if I go back to my automation, you would see here, it is able to identify the things based on my things, right? Maybe I'll just let it complete. Okay, see, it is doing everything from my Excel. The same you can do with Google Sheets, Google Drive, anywhere, right? And it is available on my 22. Okay, here it is the same place. Today is 11th, right? Yes, see, 11th April 1854. You guys see how cool is that, right? I don't have to write any automation. I just have to pass the data to the activity and it was able to get me that details, right? So that activity was categorized. Okay, now that was the last activity which I wanted to show you today. But having said that, we have a lot more activities which are available. If you just go here and say you have a Gen AI activities, you will see that these are all the activities which are available. Web search, web reader, read write, PII filtering, categorize, image analysis, signature similarity, two signatures, you can validate, semantic analysis, detect object image, all of these activity. Just drag and drop it, utilize it, right? And I has mentioned, if you want to get into more of these activities, I have already covered all of that into my generative AI YouTube playlist, where I have built that in the UiPath Studio. But you should be exactly able to build the same into your UiPath Studio web as well, right? But since you have access to all of that, so you cannot just copy paste the same use case, because everybody has the same use cases, it's public, right? But what you have to do is you have to combine activities, come up with a use case, build it using combination, and you could make a lot of use cases, right? And with that, I would like to take a pause. I'll stop my sharing, right? And now I can answer the questions. But before I come to the questions, right, I would just like you guys to put it on the chat, just a single word, which is use case. If you guys have use case in your mind today, or you have some ideas for the hackathon, right, just comment down use case, so that I understand that yes, at least each one of us have some ideas which we can build in the hackathon. I'll wait for your comments. And with that, I can, you guys can ask questions. I can see, is AI unit consumed when we use Gen AI activities? Yes, you are using generative AI activities, but all this token, everything is taken care by UiPath. Yes, there is some limitations on the token size. Uh, I don't have the exact number, but yes, there is a limitation. You cannot pass the complete, let's say, a book, right? But you don't have to pay anything for APIs or anything. Yes, there is a token limit, but that token limit is also good enough, right? You see that I have just summarized the complete chat and it was able to do that. With community edition, is there any limitation? No, my friend. Saurabh, you can see I'm using my community edition only, cloud.uipath.com. All of this, whatever I was doing, is in my community edition only, right? And I see a lot of use cases. Thank you so much, guys. Can I get the recording? Yes, it will be available on the same link where you registered. And with that, over to you, Ghanshyam.
Thanks, Mukesh. So if anyone of you have questions, feel free to unmute yourself. Right now, you should have that flexibility of unmuting yourself and asking question. But as a practice, please raise your hand so that we can take the questions in the same order, because we are like 102 people here. And if everyone unmutes at the same time, trust me, no one will be able to ask questions, or we will be able to understand them. There is an icon in the Zoom window called raise hand. So you can click on that if you have a question, and we'll call out your name so that you can ask the question.
Okay, I think it's all clear or all clear.
Yes.
Great.
Right. Vidya, over to you.
Yeah. Yeah, guys, can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay. As we wrap up today's session, let's take a moment to look forward. This session was designed to give you all the confidence and also the skill to participate in UiPath Agent Hack Student India Student Edition, a national level hackathon where you have the opportunity to showcase your to showcase your uh, to showcase your talent in problem in problem solving. You can submit the hackathon idea using using the link in the screen. You guys can take a photo or you can write it down. And also, if you want more information on the upskilling sessions, you can always log into our website. Before we sign off, we want to quickly talk about the opportunity to become the student developer champion. Student Developer Champion. This is the program to empower the students and become an automation leader in your campus. So who all can apply? If your college doesn't already have a champion, here is your chance to apply. We accept applications around the year, and champions will serve for a year, and they will be onboarded every 4 months. This is a chance to gain recognition and inspire your peers. So please go ahead and apply with this link. So thank you all so much. Do you guys have any questions regarding the program? You can shoot now. Okay. So all of you have a very great night. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
I think that there is a question now, Mukesh.
Okay.
Are there are these generative activities limited to OpenAI models, or can we integrate with others like Google Gemini or Azure AI?
So currently in the in your activity pack, right? If I just immediately can show it to you, right? We have, I guess, Gemini. Let me quickly see what all we have. We have Gemini, we have OpenAI, but you also has an option to bring your own model into the admin section of UiPath. Let me show it to you as well. Quickly share my screen, but I think you won't require that because most of the things would be taken care by this existing model. You're able to see my screen? Which screen you are looking at? You're able to see my cloud account, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. So if I just go to the admin, right, and then into the AI trust layer, into the, okay. Okay. So into the community account, guys, still you do not have option to bring your own LLM. However, if I show it on the staging account, it will take some time to get these things into the community. As of now, it is available onto the test trial, which is mostly for the people who are testing it, like I am testing it. But I can quickly show it to you how does it look like. So you can see here LLM configuration is available for you, right? Where you can bring your own LLM by just clicking on this guy and it would be available. It will be soon rolled out to the community edition. As of now, it's not available in the community, but stay assured that before DevCon and everything, right, by end of this month, you should have this guy available, right? But for your use cases, I think you should be able to build it with the existing models as well. Hope that answers your question, Noor.
Any more question, guys?
We are on time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect. So
Yes.
see you all tomorrow. Tomorrow would be a hands-on session as well. So come prepared. Like, please join from your laptops. Have a browser window ready, and yeah, see you all tomorrow. It's going to be a 2-hour session tomorrow. So be prepared for that.
Okay, great. So thank you, everyone. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Thank you guys for joining.